Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. So today I kind of want to talk about something a little bit more personal. I've sort of been tossing around this idea of maybe doing videos that are a little bit more personal on the channel, things that have happened, or you know things that are more on an emotional level than just analytical or informational. So this is kind of like my first shot at that. So what I wanted to talk about today was it's kind of going to be a hybrid. It's a little informational, but also something that just kind of recently, I don't want to say something that happened to me, but just sort of like an emotional, I don't want to say a meltdown. What is the word? Sort of like a crisis, I guess, like an identity crisis type of situation. So, for those of you that don't know, I used to be married. I was married 5 or 6 years ago. I was probably 6 years ago at this point, and I got divorced. And so, I was already really sick. So I've been fully disabled for probably close to 10 years. I would say it's getting close to 10 years. So I was still married for a few years. Right when I had to stop working permanently. And we were married for a few years. We tried to work it out, but eventually we felt that it was best for both of us to divorce. And so it wasn't like the situation was not bad at all. It was actually a really, really good divorce. We got along really well. Everything was, I mean, it was smooth sailing. The divorce um, went very smoothly and easily, and it was done within like 6 months, and that was like 5 or 6 years ago. I never changed my name though, so I had my husband's last name, and because I was disabled, I figured it would be way too hard to change my last name, to change it back to my maiden name. He did all the divorce paperwork. He went to the courthouse. He did, he had to go through this whole like, what do you call it? Like a workshop or something so that they could help you fill out paperwork. So he did all of that because I couldn't do that. Couldn't be in a courthouse for, hours on end, or, that kind of thing. So when it came to changing my name, I knew that I actually didn't know that you could do it with the rest of the divorce paperwork. I just let him go through the process because I was too sick to really do that. But I guess we didn't request a name change at that time. So if you don't request a name change when you get divorced, so this is an important detail for those of you that may be getting divorced or maybe thinking about that, for the ladies or the men who've changed their names. You can request to get your name changed, I think, when you file for divorce. I did not know that. And of course, since my husband was handling the paperwork, maybe they told him that, but he just was filing the divorce paperwork, wasn't concerned with anything else. But I found this out recently. So I just let it go. It wasn't a huge deal to me. I don't know, I just didn't really care enough, and I felt that it was just going to be way too hard because not only did I have to change my name legally, um you have to go through the court, then from the court you have to go to the social security office, then to the DMV, and then everything else. Those are like the first steps. And then, obviously I have Medicare, I have my social security stuff and credit cards and all of that. And so I was just not having it. And I was like, it's not a big deal. I don't care about my last name. So I don't know. It did not seem to really bother me much until recently. And you may hear me talk about this in some other videos that may be uploading soon. But for whatever reason, the last few months have been really emotionally draining for me. So right now I'm filming this in December 2021. And I've been thinking about other things, thinking about getting new treatments, alternative treatments done. And I don't know, I think the stress of all of that, of thinking of what is to come, just triggered something in me. And all of a sudden, I was like, I need to change my name. I need to change my name back. Like I need to change my name back. One of the things that I think may have sparked this or sort of kind of made it take off was that I started considering dual citizenship. Now, I don't know how, I can get dual citizenship, but it really, I don't know how I would live in another country in my condition. But I started to consider that. I will have a video on that uploading at some point. But I started to consider dual citizenship because the cost of living in Mexico is cheaper. And I started to kind of look up videos on YouTube, and this one video that I found, this girl and her husband got dual citizenship in Mexico, but she said she had some trouble getting it because she had changed her last name to her husband's. And your last name has to match all of your your like birth certificate and that kind of thing. And so I don't know, that just kind of sparked something in me, and I was like, I need to change my name back. At this point, I still don't know about the dual citizenship thing. That is to be, to be decided in the future. But I thought, you know what, why don't I just get the ball rolling on this? The other reason that I think I started to have this weird anxiety over my name is because of the potential that I may be doing some other kind of treatment, whether it's stem cells or whether it's, exosomes or whatever. There is always the potential, even with the medication I'm on right now, there's the potential for having an allergic reaction or having a very bad response, and ending up hospitalized, or maybe just getting sick down the line, and who knows what could happen. I mean, also too, we're still, we're getting towards the tail end of the pandemic, but it's still going on. And I'm also still unvaccinated as of, right now. And all of that started to go through my head on top of just the already mounting anxiety of everything in my life. And I think I started to ask myself, if something happened to you and you ended up in the hospital, or you were, you know, uh, dying, or going in that direction, you're going to have your husband's last name. My husband, and this has nothing to do with it. It's not an issue, but my husband was Middle Eastern, so legally I have a Middle Eastern, or I had a Middle Eastern last name. And I'm Mexican. And I actually do like my maiden last name, because it's not a common Mexican last name. It's one of the less common ones. Um, and the other thing too was that, I there's been a lot of like identity stuff. I mean, I can really go deep into this, but I thought to myself, I want to let go of that in case something happens. God forbid anything happen. I don't want my death certificate to have somebody else's last name, a person that I'm not married to. I don't even know where he is. Like, I literally know nothing about this person anymore. I I don't know. I mean, I honestly don't even know if he's still alive, or what's going on with him. And it started to make less and less sense to me that I still had his last name. It just started to feel weird to me that I still had this person's last name, a person that I didn't even know. Um, I just I don't know this person anymore. And also the fact that it was just ethnically different. I know that sounds kind of weird, but I'm not Middle Eastern at all. Like, I'm not even, mixed or anything. And so it was kind of odd. And I think sometimes too, I mean, I don't look, from what people have told me, I don't look like my own ethnicity anyways. And I felt like having a different last name just added to the confusion of my identity and who I was. Um, And like I said, I can really, really go into this because I have been having sort of like a weird identity crisis. I've been really recently embracing, my Mexican ethnicity and my background and, where my parents are from. And like I said, I've been considering the dual citizenship thing. And I don't know what it is. I don't know if it's like my own mortality that is sparking this curiosity. Um, the fact that I was looking into stem cell clinics in Mexico, and then I just started to see, I started to sort of discover different little things about Mexico, cost of living, the culture, you know, the people. And I don't know, there was just something that just went off. And I was like, I need to get my name back. Um, so for any of you that are interested in changing your name, but you're disabled, that what you do if you don't get it done during your divorce, you can still get it done afterwards, but you have to go to the courthouse. And that was my concern because I live in Los Angeles County, and the courthouse that my husband went to file for divorce, and I'm kind of thinking, why did he go there? Because we weren't even living in that county. We didn't even get married in that county. But he had to go to the Riverside courthouse in Riverside County. So from here to there, it's like, depending on the traffic, an hour drive. I've never been to that courthouse. I've don't know where it is. It just was overwhelming. And so I did, some Google searching, and I started looking into it more seriously. And there is an agency here in West Hollywood. I believe it's called Easy Name Change. But you can just Google, legal name change, and I'm sure their agency comes up. They had really, really good reviews. Um, and it was gonna cost me maybe like a couple $100. And I thought to myself, why not? If they can do the court filing for me, that saves me, that saves me that stress, the stress of driving over there. Because everything else you can kind of take care of from home or at a local office. For example, my social security card to get go and change my name at the social security office. There's literally an office here in the same city where I live. I mean, literally, probably maybe 10 minutes at most driving. So that kind of stuff is a lot closer. You can make appointments. Um, other things like my credit cards and stuff, I've already called and consulted and asked them what I need to do, and they told me it can probably be done, you know, on the computer. We'll email you some forms. You'll email us, other forms. So I started to see that most everything else could be done electronically, or it wasn't going to be as difficult as I had thought. Yes, it's going to be time consuming, but another reason why I decided that right now would be the time is because, as I mentioned earlier in this video, I have been having a rough time the last few months with stress, with ruminations. If you don't know what that is, it's just thinking about the same thing over and over and over again. And I definitely need to make a video about that because it has been brutal the last few months. Um, it is a symptom of many neurological conditions. Lyme disease, probably anything that's affecting your nervous system is going to cause some type of OCD type symptom, because it's affecting your nervous system and your brain. And the last several months have been absolute torture, absolute torture when it comes to that. Sorry, I wasn't going to cry. I choked on dryness of my throat. It has been very, very dry here in California. Um, so I thought to myself, this is the perfect opportunity to get this done and to occupy my mind with something besides the thoughts that won't be quiet in my head. So, and also to distract myself from what's coming up in the next few months and this pandemic and everything else. And I also think, to me, a lot of times what I do, and we all do this, when when we're chronically ill is catastrophize. I don't know how to pronounce the word, but like catastrophic thinking. And I think another sort of like the cousin of catastrophic thinking is like exaggerated thinking, where I was like, I can't change my name. It's going to be too hard. I'm going to have to do a million things. It's just going to be too impossible. And I think back and I think to myself, if I would have known about this agency, or if I would have simply Googled it a few years ago, I could have slowly done this process over, maybe the course of a year. Um, and just, have the agency do the court filing, and then everything else I could get it done very slowly over the course of several months, or even if I want to take years to do it. I mean, I don't think you really need to take years, but I was just so caught up in the fact that it was going to be too hard and too difficult with my medical condition that I didn't even Google it. I don't know why I never looked into this before. And it didn't bother me. I didn't care about my last name, which is kind of weird, like, because it is a big, the first initial is the same. So, my initials were exactly the same as before, but I don't know why it didn't bother me before, because it is a last name from a completely different ethnicity. And I don't know, that there was just something in me that was like, you need to just get your last name back and move on, I wasn't like holding on to him either, because I have no idea where he is. We don't even talk anymore. We haven't spoken in years. Um, but I don't know. I just wanted to, it's almost like something that I have to get off of me, like like washing something off. I was like, I have to wash off this last name. And I'm just anxious to get everything done, to change my name on my credit cards, to change, my name at my bank, and um, on all of my legal stuff. And I don't know, it just happened seemingly out of the blue. And there have been a few things recently that have happened that way, where I just am kind of living my life, and suddenly something just almost like hits me upside the head, and I'm just obsessed, and can't stop thinking about it, and can't stop ruminating about it, and I have to do it, and I have to get it done, and I have to, like, it's just this bizarre thing that has been happening. And I know that part of it is related to my condition. I do believe neurologically, brain wise, my condition is worsening. I've noticed that my focus has been very, very bad for many months now. Typically, I go through phases where, you know, um, I can't focus. I can't even read because I just can't focus on anything. I'm kind of restless. And then it kind of calms down. And then it'll flare up a little bit, and then it'll calm down. In the last several months, it seems to have just flared up, and I can't stop it. So I feel like this gives me something productive to focus my obsessiveness on, and sort of kind of get it off of all these other weird thoughts that have been happening. So it's something that kind of, like I said, I'm moving towards a goal. It's not something dangerous. It's not something that is going to depress me, because some of these obsessive thoughts are very depressing, and they're causing a lot of emotional distress. And this isn't something that's doing that. This is something that's actually bringing me joy and making me happy. Even if it's going to expend some energy, most of this energy I can expend from the comfort of my own home, and over the phone, because the hardest part was done for me already. So again, that agency, I believe it's called Easy Name Change in West Hollywood. If you're here in California, I imagine there are other agencies in other states that do this as well. It doesn't seem very difficult, to be honest, to go to the courthouse and do this. You just have to know how to fill out the form and go and submit it at the courthouse. I just, because of the drive and because of my medical issues, my light sensitivity, and also the pandemic, I was like, you know what? I will just pay for convenience and get the ball rolling on that. Everything else is also free. You don't pay the Social Security office. I think you might have to pay at the DMV, but I think most everything else, it does not cost you to change your name, like on your credit cards and, the post office, that kind of thing. So the biggest fee that you're going to pay is at this agency, and they do waive certain fees. For example, if you are on Social Security, like myself, and you have a fixed income, um, they will waive, I think, one of the court fees or something. So it's not the worst thing ever, and I don't know. I just feel relieved that I'm getting it done, and that I'm working toward that. And I don't know. It just feels like a fun little project. It's something else to focus on. So that's my video for today. If you guys have any comments or any questions, leave them down below. Please like and subscribe. Recommend this channel to your friends. If you guys have any other topics that you'd like me to talk about, or if you have any questions, if you're curious about anything, please leave it down in the comments. I need ideas for more videos. And I kind of want to make videos that you guys want to watch. So just let me know, and I will see you again very soon. Take care.